Today on Homeworthy, we're spending the day in Brooklyn, New York, touring the home of interior designer Erin Fearins. Erin, an avid collector, and her husband, an architect, have spent the last 15 years crafting a family home that's whimsical and eclectic, while also tackling the unique challenges of city living by creating beautiful storage solutions. Enjoy! You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story. To shop items inspired by this and other Homeworthy episodes, be sure to check out the product links below for amazing furniture, accessories, and more.
Hi Homeworthy, I'm Erin. Welcome to my Brooklyn home. Come on in. Hi, I'm Erin Fearins, and welcome to my home. We're in Cobble Hill, and I live here with my husband Jesse and our two children Willa and Avery and our dog Dolly. And I want to show you around. I just wanted to start in our entry here. One of the things we really wanted to do with this entry is to create a space that feels like its own area, because with this apartment there are a lot of spaces that sort of bleed into one another. So we decided to wallpaper just this zone and treat it a little bit differently than the rest of the living room and kitchen that it kind of opens up into. We just wanted it to feel like a special arrival point, because so many apartments don't have a real foyer or a real arrival moment, and I think that's such an important thing to have as you are entering a home, to really feel like you are meant to go into this area in this zone. One of the things that's really important for us is storage, so we've managed to hide a huge closet here behind this big wall door that houses all of our coats and scooters and shoes and stuff like that. And you would never know it was here. So it's one of the things that's really important in this apartment with 4 people. Even though it's a 3-bedroom, it's sort of a small apartment since we're in New York. So we've really managed to try to hide as much storage as possible throughout. And I'll show you some of those areas. I love objects and accessories. I'm kind of a maximalist. And so even though this is a functional area, I still have to have little things everywhere. So I collect brass animals, so I have a little brass deer here and then one hidden in the floor. We try to kind of have fun with our accessories. I have these cool vintage hat racks that we got that are shaped like brass ducks. I love this piece. This is a Mario Lopez Torres piece. This cool designer, and they make these, they're mostly objects that look like animals, so I love this snake hat rack as well. We're definitely animal lovers. I love this paper. I just think it's so whimsical and sort of 60s. There's something that's just kind of funky about it. I love the overscale quality of it. And you'll see there's a theme of animals throughout this whole apartment. Now I'm going to take you to our living room. So as you can see, it's just this sort of open space right off of the foyer, and our kitchen is adjacent to this space as well. We've got a lot of stuff in here. We're collectors at heart. We love to travel and we love to pick things up everywhere we go. So all of this art and all of the objects have a story to us that is really special. So those are things that just make us happy every day when we're living here in this space. A couple of the pieces that we have in here are vintage and fun finds that we have kind of come across along the way. So this sofa is the only sofa that would actually fit up the stairs to this apartment, because even though it's really long, it's like 11 feet long, it's in 2 pieces. And this is a piece that I found on eBay, believe it or not, and we had the seat cushions reupholstered because they were pretty tattered. It's definitely from the 70s and has the original 70s print on the back and the frame. But this thing has been really well loved, and my kids fall asleep on this on a regular basis. This is another piece that I got at auction. It's this cool chinois kind of frame. Definitely a little rough around the edges, but I like the wear on it. I like that it's not perfect. And we reupholstered the top in a cool Joseph Frank print. It also, for many years, housed lots of Legos inside of this, because there's like a cavity inside that holds whatever you want. We definitely don't prescribe to a certain style. We really just kind of gravitate toward things that we like we are mixing mid-century with things that are definitely of an older era and things that are brand new. So I think to me it's just, if it speaks to us in a certain way, then we feel like that's okay to have in our home. And I like that it feels like an expression of us rather than an expression of a particular style. So another trick that we often use in our work is layering, and this is a good example because this is a room that is hard to define since it sort of blends into our kitchen. So we decided to do a really large neutral area rug that starts to define the space as a whole. And then I've layered a smaller decorative Turkish rug on top that I found at an antique store in my hometown actually, and the colors worked out beautifully. But I think that it starts to define this as a separate zone rather than this dining area. So there are tricks that are being played to start to create spaces within spaces. So I love the idea of gallery walls anywhere I can fit them, and this is a wall that's evolved a lot since we've lived here, and I've found that I was just collecting all of these sort of smaller pieces that didn't quite have real homes, so I thought it would be nice to kind of put them all together. A lot of these things are really special to us. They're things that we've picked up on travels or pieces that our friends have painted for us. They're all really meaningful, and I just literally one Saturday laid all this stuff out on the floor and kind of took a picture of how I thought it would work and then just started hammering it into the walls, and it worked out. So I don't think that gallery walls are as scary as they might seem to be. I think to me it's just, if you love the pieces, they're all going to go together because they're all a reflection of who you are. So I also love butterflies, and my friends know this. So I've collected these species for a number of years, and then this one was given to me by my dear friend. So these are all things that are really meaningful to me. We also picked up this pair of little frogs in Paris a couple of years ago, and I just saw them in the window and had to have them. So this piece is something I got at auction many years ago, and it wasn't really something that stylistically I had pieces that felt like this, but there's something that just spoke to me about this. I love this creature. I love the tree. I think it's so beautiful. It's like vaguely chinois, but it's also a little, I don't know, it has a different kind of flair. And then these are pieces that we just collected. I literally found this on the street and I thought it was the coolest thing, so I picked it up. But the rest of these pieces are, like, this is a dear friend of mine who lives in Toronto, who does beautiful, beautiful drawings and paintings. And then a couple of other things. This is a piece that always hung in my mom and dad's room, and I used to fly kites with my dad a lot. And they live on a farm in Tennessee, and they also rebuilt windmills. So there's something like so specific about this piece that it's like super special to me. We built this at the same time that we did our kitchen, and this wall was before it was just this big brick blank wall. And again, just like having storage is so important. So we have these really deep cabinets that house records and serving pieces, and then on this side it's a hidden bar. So we have glassware and liquor, and underneath here is our radiator. So this cane does a dual purpose where it's decorative, but it also actually allows the heat to come out. Another thing that I love is that behind this television we've carved out more storage for china and serving pieces that we don't use all the time, but that I want to have access to, and you kind of would never know it's there. So I grew up in East Tennessee in a really small town called Greenville, and my dad was a furniture maker, and his shop was literally through the back behind our house through a field. So I would spend after school and summers sweeping sawdust and helping him build things, or mostly just gluing things together. But just being able to go with him and see houses and see things that he was installing for people at that time, I was so interested in how other people live and so interested to see how people set their homes up. So I think it was just from that exposure that I became really fascinated, and it's just been kind of a lifelong interest for me. I went to school at the University of Tennessee in Knoxville in the interior design department. It was through the architecture department, so I got to know a lot of architects very well during that time. That's how I met my husband, actually, who's an architect. And after graduation, I worked in Nashville for a number of years at Bradford's. And then we moved to New York thinking we'd be here for maybe 3 years, and it's been almost 20 years now that we've been here. I think we just always felt like we would probably move back south, but we really just love it here, and we're able to travel and make this our home base, and I think that because of that, it's been such a great place to kind of grow and raise a family, and we're all really happy here. This is a really small little dining area that we've carved out of the corner of our living room, and we really do have dinner here every night. It's a super comfortable place for 4 to sit. We really tried to create a space with its own identity. We've done a completely different wallpaper here, and I have this collection of lusterware and stoneware that I've collected over the years that are on the walls, along with some art that I really love. This is a super functional space for us. This table is actually kind of perfect here because it's a big dining table in the middle of the room in a way, but the fact that it's glass with lucite base, this is this kind of 70s base that we found, it doesn't feel like this massive thing. So I think that it really does its job well here to not feel like a big clunky piece in the corner. I love lower level lighting, so we have a lot of table lamps and floor lamps throughout this apartment. In a lot of cases there aren't even ceiling lights, but I prefer that because in most of our work we really rely on lower level lighting just because it feels really sparkly and comfortable, and it's sort of flattering to be around. So this is an area where we installed 2 sconces, and I got these beautiful Fermois shades to put on them. And these are some antlers that my father-in-law gave me for Christmas because he knows I like things like that. So I thought they were kind of cool propped there. These are these cool ex voto pieces that we got in Rome, and they're these little silver things, and the history of these is that they're so cool. Like that one's lungs. I just think they're so cool, and I want to start a collection of these things because I think they're so beautiful. We moved into this apartment in 2016 and rented it for about 4 years, and then bought it and have started to kind of do things to it every summer when our kids are off with their grandparents in Maryland. So it's been sort of this constant renovation stage that we've been in, but I think it's pretty much done. Definitely collectors at heart. Me more so than my husband. I grew up in East Tennessee and am the daughter of 2 very avid collectors. My husband's an architect, and this place is definitely a collaboration. The objects and the style is maybe a little bit more me, but the sort of brilliance of the built-ins and the millwork is definitely him. It's been a great collaboration to kind of come up with spaces together. So this is our kitchen that we renovated a couple of years ago, and we really needed to kind of make sure we're maximizing storage everywhere we could. So we did take the cabinets all the way to the ceiling, and we've really just tried to carve out as much possible storage as we can anywhere. This zone is kind of meant to be a little bit more of a bar setup because it's the kind of connector piece between this dining room area. So we'll often set this up like a bar, but this is drawers. We're housing more china. I have china everywhere. I'm obsessed with it. And drawers are such a good way to house big bulky things too. Like in this one I have, like an air fryer and a mixer and a Vitamix. So it's so much easier to get things out of big drawers than doors. So we'll often use them in our renovations. So on this side we have drawers again for plates and cookware and pots and pans. We really tried to hide as much as we can, so while the refrigerator is the only thing that's exposed, everything else is behind cabinet doors, just to kind of create more uniformity. This is the dishwasher, so it's hidden behind a panel door, and I think it's like sight lines are really important, so being able to see from the living room into this space, we just wanted this to be sort of as done and beautiful as possible. I chose a really dark color for the cabinetry just because I wanted it to feel less kitchen-like. I wanted it to feel a little bit more like a bar. Because it's quite small, but we cook a lot in here. It's really functional. I think having things so close sort of makes it work better sometimes. We decided to use a stone counter, and we used it on the backsplash as well, just again for that sense of uniformity, creating a space that feels a little bit bigger. We really are treating this space like almost like a bar. We wanted it to feel more bar-like than kitchen-like, since it's this interior sort of darker space. And we really just like the idea of making it feel like a jewel box. And we were hanging art and this beautiful Portuguese tiled plaque. And I like to kind of have things propped up and placed in here so that it's functional, but it could also be really beautiful at all times. This rug is one that was found at auction, and my friend actually bought it, and it didn't work in her hall, and I was like, I would love to buy that rug from you because I have the perfect spot for it. I love these things. So these are some candles that we sell at our shop, and they're Italian, and so this is meant to look like a big panettone, but it's a candle. And then also this is a candle, this donut, and this tiny macaron is a candle. These are real food though. And then my son made this, which I think is so cute because he called it, this is his little art tag, it's called Strawberry Banana Explosion. I was working at a larger studio in Brooklyn for many years, and in 2020, two of my closest friends and colleagues there, we decided that it was time to kind of branch out, and we created another firm where we're really focusing on architecture and interiors at the same time. It's of equal importance. And our firm is called Studio SFW, and we focus primarily on residential design, and we really try to bring functional, beautiful, fun spaces to all of our projects. We really listen to our clients, and I think in the same way that this apartment is an expression of me, we try to make all of our clients' homes an expression of who they are. Digging deep to figure out those things that make them tick and those things that make them feel happy are one of our biggest goals. And when we get it right, it's amazing because they say that their lives are changed, and it's an incredible experience to kind of help someone through that. So before we go into our bedroom, I just want to point out another hidden storage element here. This is our pantry, because our kitchen's so small, we really need space that's overflow for that. But it's nice that it's completely hidden in this little wall door here. This is probably the quietest space of our apartment. It's this long hallway going back bedroom, but we still love rugs. This is a fun Moroccan rug that I found at a local shop in Brooklyn. And this is a de Gournay wallpaper panel that I've had this since I was in Nashville. I've just had this forever, and I love their paper. Maybe one day this whole hallway will be de Gournay, but for now it's just this panel. So this is a cool pendant. It's newly made, but it's meant to be based on something from like the 30s. It's just a fun sunburst shape. It's a nice element in this hallway. Creates a little bit more of a room feeling, and otherwise just a passage. I'll take you into our bedroom now. So again, this is a little bit of a tight space. There are a couple of tricks that we have incorporated here with a mirror to try to bounce light around and make it feel a little bit brighter. So this is this cool vintage bed that I found in Florida, and I love it. And it has this fun mirrored ceiling that does this amazing thing about bouncing the light from the window. It makes this feel 2 times as tall in here, and I love the effect of it. The other thing I wanted to point out is a lot of storage that we have built into this bedroom. So this whole thing was added, and really just takes the place of any kind of storage furniture that we would need. It's basically a huge dresser for us, big open shelves, and then things up above that, suitcases, things like that you don't really need to get to very often can go up there. But we've really just tried to carve out as much storage as we can in this small space. So this is another trick with mirror. We installed these kind of antiqued mirror tiles behind this frame TV because I really like the depth that it creates. It's another one of those areas that starts to bounce light around in a way. And in a room like this, it's dark, intentionally dark. We painted it this beautiful Banca green from Farrow and Ball. I love this color, but It's meant to feel really cozy in here, but in cozy spaces you also want to have a little bit of sparkle. So I think that this mirror on the wall behind this niche does a great trick in allowing for that. This is one of my favorite pieces. This is a quilt that my great aunt Gladys made. She's been a lifelong avid quilter and just passed away a couple of years ago, so we have a huge collection of her pieces, and this one's just really special to me. I love the colors. I love this Lone Star pattern. She was really talented. So in the evenings, this is a really cozy space. We're lucky enough to have this window that streams in light during the day, but in the evenings it's really quiet, cozy, only lit by these table lamps. And another thing we really love to do is add art lighting, so there's always a little bit of a sparkle on some of the pieces of art. So I started this project. I became really inspired by the Grand Central ceiling because I walk through there every day. So I thought I would paint our horoscope signs. So this is my husband's and mine is over here. And then I'm still in the process of doing this. So I have one little star for one of our children, and I'm going to add another star from our other child, and then I'll probably do like some sort of little doggy star sign or something. There's a little constellation that looks like a dog that I may do in one other corner. So this is sort of an ongoing project. I like the idea of just having things that are kind of unexpected in certain spaces. These nightstands are these hand-painted pieces from India. I love them. I think having things that are hand-painted and hand-hewn are really lovely to have around. And I love the color and the pattern on these. So these are two pieces that my dad painted in the 60s. He used to teach, in addition to being a furniture maker, he taught shop to high school students when he was really young. And I really don't know why these would have been part of that, but they were painted during that time. But I think they're so 60s and so cool. And I love things I love Americana stuff. So like these two just totally speak to me. We often do pieces like this, built-in millwork for a lot of our projects. It's so much more, you can get so much more out of a space when you're building something in rather than just buying a piece of furniture. It can be very deliberate. Like, these drawers are exactly the size of a laptop. So I can keep a laptop in here along with some other things that I'm just like grabbing and taking with me every day. So you can be thoughtful about things like that when you're building something in. So we'll head into this bathroom that's off of our bedroom, and this is one of my favorite spaces actually. We just finished this recently, and we really wanted this to feel like a brighter, fresher space. It's super functional. We have our laundry area here, but on this side we have a lot of storage and like a built-in hamper, great drawer storage for whatever you need to hide in here. And I love this countertop. This is this great French company that does beautiful lava stone, and this stuff is so durable. In fact, I was so worried about it that I got a sample and I was literally like hitting it with a hammer and it wasn't breaking. So this stuff is so durable. I love it. We decided to paint everything a really soft white in here just because I wanted it to feel fresher and brighter. We've incorporated a lot of pattern with the floor tile, this mosaic and multicolored from Artistic Tile, and then this fun wallpaper. Another thing we wanted to do is really incorporate natural stones. So we've created this ledge here and have mimicked it over here for a counter. This is another great storage solution. Again, super custom because we were only able to get about 4 inches of depth here, but in this area we could go back further. So we just took this medicine cabinet as deep as it could go. This actually is a European toilet. It's from Devon & Devon, an Italian company. I love the look of this. I love this kind of, that it's into the wall. This is also such a space saver because these are, if you're able to build them in like this, you do have to pack out the wall a little bit for the actuator to be built into that. But this sticks out so much less than a regular toilet would. So in a small space like this, it's actually perfect. Now I'm going to take you to my son Avery's room. Now we're in my son Avery's room, who is 11 and is obsessed with Legos. So we have this cabinet which is full of Legos. We really just try to keep this room kind of simple. This was the original brick wall that was running throughout this whole apartment. This is the only place that you can see the original brick wall, which we thought was kind of cool to keep in this case. This room we decided to paint everything, the walls, the baseboard, the casings, the same color. I think it creates a little bit of a richer feeling in spaces that are smaller. We do have one wall of wallpaper here, and this is from Flavor Paper. This is the Brooklyn Toile, which is so iconic, but I think it's sort of fun in his space. And again, red and blue color combination that I love. This is a great room that it represents that. So there are some nostalgic pieces in this room that are really special, maybe more to me than my son, but also to him. This is a piece that I was given when I was really young. It was by the artist who drew all the Clifford books, and my mother met him, and then he drew this, and it's very special to me. And then this cool poster, it's like a vinyl poster that would hang in a gas station. This is one that's a smaller version that my father has. He, again, an avid collector, has this full gas station full of memorabilia, and this is one that my son liked, so we found a smaller version, and so it's sort of a good memory of his grandfather. Avery's a real artist, so we have this sort of revolving wall of artwork that we change out often. So these are small canvases that he has painted, and we'll change these out every once in a while. He's got drawings and sculptures propped up everywhere. Another thing he loves is Titanic. So these are 4 Titanic replicas that he has made out of Legos. That's another deep love of his. These are storage boxes for thousands of Legos. Very necessary. This is a great lamp that I got at auction years ago. It's a vintage James Mott lamp. We used to have this in our living room, but it seemed like it was working really well in here, and he needed some more light, so we've brought this big boy into this room. I love that piece though. Another bit of Americana, I love that pattern too. I think it's an old Brunswick and Fee. I don't think they make that one anymore, but I love that it has the presidents, like the first 5 presidents on horses. I think it's so cool. So now we're in our bathroom, and we didn't do a ton to this space. We left the black and white floor tile just because we kind of liked it, and this really simple wall tile with this trim. I like the traditional detailing of this with a trim detail running around the shower. One thing we did do is add this Christian Lacroix wallpaper. It's just metallic with all these cards. I think it's so fun. We wrapped it onto the ceiling just because we wanted it to feel really enveloping in this space. It's tough sometimes with interior bathrooms. Every bathroom with a window is so great. So when you don't have that luxury, I think kind of treating it, again, in a jewel box kind of fashion helps. It makes it feel a little bit more kind of comfortable and comforting to be within. So this bathroom is really small, and we all use it, and we were constantly getting our towels mixed up. So I've now employed a initial system where you hang your towel where your initial is, and it's working out really well. We're not mixing up our towels anymore. In spaces like this, I love these kind of swing arm multiple towel hooks, because we don't really have the space for big towel bars everywhere. So I think this is really working well for us, this solution. So this is one of my favorite spaces. It's my daughter Willa's room, and I love this nook bed that we made for her. It's a full-size bed, and it's in a pretty small space, so I think it feels really generous even though it's a small room. She's got places for all of her books and her artwork and her costumes, and tons of storage underneath with these big deep drawers. She keeps it pretty tidy in here, I must say. This side, she has a ton of musical instruments. She's a musician, and then she creates a lot of costumes, so this is something she's been working on. Overall, it's a really beautiful sort of light-filled space. She gets a lot of great light in here. This is another Benjamin Moore color. It's a very, very soft lavender. These Moroccan rugs are so forgiving. They're so thick, and because they're wool, they're really easy to keep clean. So even though this one's a light one, it starts to make this whole space feel really light and bright, but it's also really durable because stains come right out of it since it's wool. This is a cool vintage poster that I found at Philip Williams down on Chambers Street. And it's like a section of a house, but it's in French. And I think it's it's the kind of piece that I need to have in my home. I love this thing. This piece of art is something that Willa made several years ago, and I love the colors, and she still loves it, so we have this hanging over her headboard. This is another place where sconces and built-in lighting have become really important. So we have these cool swing arm sconces that she can raise or lower. We have art lighting above the bed on this side, which starts to highlight her sculptures and her costumes that she likes to work on. This is a mobile that I made for Willow when she was a baby. These are some grapevine branches that my godmother gave me. And then another dear friend helped me sew these little birds, and then we pieced it together for her. So this has been in her room since she was a baby. My dad built this table. This side table has kind of been with us for a couple of years. It used to be in our living room, but my daughter took it over since she has her records, and she does a lot of artwork on this as well. So there's paint on it at the moment, but my dad built this for us a couple years back. So this home means a lot to me. It's a place that our family can come together. We're all being pulled into a lot of different directions, so it's our constant, it's our place that we can gather, and it's our refuge. The kids are growing up and we're all traveling a lot and have pretty busy lives, so this has just been a place where we really do actually relax here, and we really kind of come together, and we'll play chess together. We actually do things together as a family when we're here, which I really appreciate, because those times are becoming fewer and further between since my kids are getting a little older. We've put a lot of ourselves into this apartment. It's definitely not a place that is going to be for everybody, but it's definitely a reflection of who we are and the things that we love to surround ourselves with, and we really love it here. Thanks, Homeworthy, for visiting my home today. I'll see you next time. Bye.
Thanks for watching. Go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content and shopping guides.